Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of your own thoughts, completely lost and alone, even when someone you love is right there beside you? That's where our story begins, with a feeling so heavy it seems impossible to shake. Sometimes the world just stops making sense. Colors fade, sounds muffle, and all that's left is a dull, persistent ache in your chest. You look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. You see someone who's lost their spark, someone carrying a weight so immense they can barely stand. It feels like you're trapped behind a wall of glass, watching life happen on the other side, unable to reach out, unable to connect. Every day bleeds into the next, a monochrome existence where joy feels like a distant memory, a story told about someone else. People try to reach you, their voices muffled by the fog in your mind. You want to respond to tell them you're still in there, but the words get stuck. It's a lonely place to be, this quiet battlefield inside your own head. And when someone who loves you tries to break through that wall, it can feel like an intrusion. Their kindness feels undeserved, their concern like a spotlight on your failures. You see the worry in their eyes, and it only adds to the guilt. You want to lean on them, to let them in, but you're afraid. Afraid that your darkness will swallow their light. Afraid that if they see the real chaos inside, they'll turn and walk away. So you push them away first. You build your walls higher, retreat further into the silence, hoping to protect them from the storm you've become. It's a paradox of love and fear, wanting connection more than anything, but being terrified of what it might cost. I remember when things were different. I remember laughter that echoed in small apartments and sunlight that streamed through the windows, catching dust motes dancing in the air. I remember the easy comfort of a shared silence, the kind where you don't need words to know you're understood. We built a world together, brick by brick, with inside jokes and shared dreams. Her hand in mine felt like the most natural thing in the world, a perfect fit. We'd promised each other forever in quiet moments, over cups of coffee and late-night talks. It was a time when happiness wasn't something to be chased. It was just there. It was the air we breathed. Looking back at those moments now feels like watching a film about a different life, a life where everything was simple and bright. Where did that person go? Where did we go? But life has a way of testing you. The ground shifts beneath your feet, and suddenly, nothing is stable. The easy smiles are replaced by forced ones. Conversations that once flowed like a river now stumble over rocks of unspoken tension. You can feel the distance growing between you, a chasm widening with every word left unsaid. She'd reach for my hand, and I'd flinch. She'd ask what was wrong, and I'd say, nothing, a lie that tasted like ash in my mouth. I was pushing her away, and I knew it. A part of me screamed to stop, to pull her close and tell her everything. But the other part, the louder, more fearful part, kept building the wall. I saw the hurt in her eyes, the confusion, and it broke my heart, but I felt powerless to stop it. I was so lost in my own labyrinth of pain that I couldn't find the way back to her. And then the world stopped spinning. It wasn't a dramatic explosion, but a quiet, shattering collapse. It was one of those moments where everything you've been running from catches up to you all at once. The floor fell out from under me, and I was in free fall. The carefully constructed walls I had built around myself came crumbling down, and all the fear, the pain, the loneliness I had been bottling up, it all came rushing out. It was ugly, it was raw, and I was completely exposed. I felt like a failure, a burden, a broken thing that couldn't be fixed. In that moment of absolute crisis, I expected to be alone. I had pushed everyone away after all. I had made it clear I didn't want help, but she didn't leave. In my darkest hour, when I was at my most unlovable, she was there. She didn't try to fix me. She didn't offer empty platitudes or easy answers. She didn't say, "I told you so." She just stayed. She sat with me in the rubble of my breakdown, a silent, unwavering presence. She didn't try to fill the silence. She let me be broken. And in her silence, I heard everything I needed to hear. I heard, "You are not alone." I heard, "I am not afraid of your darkness." I heard, "I am here, and I'm not going anywhere." Her presence was an anchor in the storm, a quiet strength that held me together when I was falling apart. In that shared vulnerability, something shifted. The wall between us didn't just crack. It dissolved. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't just letting her see my pain. I was sharing it, and she held it with me. The journey back is never a straight line. It's a slow, tentative process. It's learning to walk again after a long time of being unable to stand. The days after the storm were quiet. There were no grand apologies or dramatic declarations. Instead, it was small things. A cup of tea left on my nightstand in the morning. A shared, hesitant smile over breakfast. Her hand finding mine, and this time I didn't pull away. I held on. We started talking again, really talking. Not about the big, scary things at first, but about the little things. The book she was reading, a funny thing we saw on the street. It was like learning a language we had both forgotten. Each word was a step, each shared moment a fragile bridge being built back toward each other. I started to let her in piece by piece. I told her about the fog, about the weight, about the fear. And she just listened. She listened without judgment, without trying to solve my problems. She just held the space for me to be honest. And I learned to listen too. I learned to hear the worry she had been carrying, the hurt my distance had caused. It wasn't easy. There were days when the old fears crept back in, when the silence felt heavy again. But this time, it was different. This time, we faced it together. We learned that healing isn't a destination. It's a process. It's two people choosing every single day to show up for each other, even when it's hard. It's choosing connection over fear, vulnerability over pride. And slowly, so slowly, I almost didn't notice it at first. The colors started to come back into the world, a little brighter each day. I started to recognize myself in the mirror again. The smile didn't feel so forced. The laughter came a little easier. I realized that happiness isn't a constant state of being. It's not a prize you win at the end of a long struggle. It's a journey. It's found in the small moments of connection, in the quiet trust you build with someone who has seen you at your worst and loves you anyway. It's found in the courage to be vulnerable, to ask for help, to let someone in. It's about accepting that it's okay not to be okay, and that you don't have to go through it alone. My story isn't over. Our story isn't over. We're still on this journey, learning and growing together. But now, the future doesn't look like a dark, terrifying abyss. It looks hopeful. It looks like more mornings with shared cups of tea, more easy silences, more hands held tight. It looks like a life built not on the illusion of perfection, but on the messy, beautiful reality of shared humanity. The most important lesson I've learned is this: you are not a burden. Your struggles do not make you unlovable. Reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. Happiness is not something you find by yourself. It's something you build together with trust and with love. Thank you for watching our story unfold. If you've ever felt lost in the dark, please know that you are not alone, and there is always hope for a new dawn. Remember to subscribe for more stories that explore the complexities of the human heart. We'll see you next time.